Hello, we're back to record episode 2. If I announced everything that way. Hello, I'm playing Roadwarden again today, so that's what I'm doing. If you haven't seen the first one, go see the first one, because this is a continuation of that. So I think I have 5 hours, 15 minutes left in the day. I have 3 out of 4 armor. I should probably get another one. I don't know why this is white. Do I have like a temporary bonus on that or something? Or why is that kind of grayed out? This little corner thing right here. I also have some vitality. I should probably get a good rest though to restore it more. I have a little bit of nourishment. I'm like half nourished and I don't stand out from the crowd, but I probably should get a proper bath at some point. And my journal, my quests right now are to explore the area, to become rich, to find the old Roadwarden, which I'm replacing. He exploded. I don't know what we don't know what happened to him yet. Talk to somebody in Howler's Dell. Find out stuff about the ruined village and the swamp altar. So, I think I said I was gonna try and go this way because I'm right here right now. Going this way will take how long? 30 minutes to this. I gotta time this right or else I'm gonna be stuck in the middle of nowhere. A termite larger than your hand moves out of your path, hiding among the bushes. Among the bushes. I'm gonna travel. So how long is it to here? It's 30 minutes to Pelt of the North. So what if I go this way? The curvy road east is overgrown. Oh my gosh, there's this cricket. Oh my gosh, this cricket. I gotta turn the volume down. Almost gives me a headache. I am very sensitive to sounds. The curvy road east is overgrown. Scrambled egg trots when it has a chance, but more often it walks, forced to jump over larger branches blocking the path. The nearby lake is surrounded by thirsty wildlife. I observe the dark forest, ready to react if something jumps that way. Please make those crickets go away. A couple of stone slabs were turned into a hut-like shape, one of the ancient chapels raised by the priests of the United Church in the days of few soldiers and even fewer shelters. The dolmens proved to be especially durable, though the conditions they offered were harsh. The entrance is barely wide enough to let you walk inside. It was meant to keep larger beasts away, including your palfrey. You can't spend the night here. You dismount and look around. Okay, so every action I take, I think, minimizes time. Let me look on the map. Right now, it takes me 1 hour and 15 minutes to get back to here. So I cannot run my time down to 1 hour and 15 minutes or I'll be, like, trapped in the wilderness. Oh, but if I really had to, right, I could sleep here at Chelia's camp, which is 1 hour away. As long as I have somewhere to sleep, because I'm of the impression you can't be outside at night. I don't remember why. I approach the hourglass carved into stone. It's the most common religious sign of the city folk, adapted by the United Church, Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and during the funeral rites, but also to decorate codices with jewelry. The winged hourglasses portray the ephemerality. I'm just reading on the spot with no practice, okay? Ephemerality. Ephemerality? The ephemerality? I mean, I've seen the word written. I don't think I've pronounced it very often. The ephemerality. The winged hourglasses portray the ephemerality of life and the rigidity of time. When possible, they're made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. I'm not a pious soul. As I'm standing in front of the hourglass, I feel nothing. That's true. Scrambled egg is looking for the next clump of grass to gaze upon. I enter the chapel. The beams of light get through the gaps between the rocks, but you can hardly see anything. A torch would fill the place with smoke, but a candle will suffice. You wonder how many travelers were sitting on the cold rock, observing the entrance and fighting with their heavy eyelids. Look around. Can I look I mean, I have a candle in my inventory, I'm pretty sure. A couple of tallow candles. I do have tallow candles with me, it says. Look around. What are you looking for or paying attention to? Walls. They are all around you. Very insightful! I had no idea. Even though a part of the ground is covered with a single massive slab, there are parts free of any flooring. You see soil, small rocks, and sand. In one spot, you find the remains of charred wood. Can I say evidence of life? Probably not. That's too complex. Okay. Evidence of, like, people having lived there. Charred wood? You said that's there. Part of the floor is littered with the remains of an old campfire, not more than a couple of months old. You see dust, burnt bones, and wood. The wall above this spot is covered with soot. Soot! Soot wall. Can I look at the soot? You notice sticky soot on the walls. Part of it covered black marks and pictures, possibly letters. Letters? Can I look for letters? Oh, look, the picture changes as I find more things. That's interesting. What a nice detail. A large part of the wall is covered with engravings. It's difficult to figure out what they're meant to portray, but one picture is obvious to you. A long arrow pointing down. Parts of the writing, as well as a nearby wall, are covered with soot. I already said that. And this means I have knowledge, because I'm a scholar in this game, so I have knowledge that could be useful here. I understand what's written here. What is it? The images and letters are a combination of two separate texts. The first one is written with words of a deer and belongs to an era as old as the dolmen itself. It's almost impossible to decipher it, but you can make sense of it by connecting some words in the general structure. It was a prayer, or a spell, asking for a safe road. The other messages are maybe a couple of years old. While they use the same alphabet, they try to express the modern city tongue. It's a list of wares, sometimes portrayed by images and their value in dragon bones. Some of the pictures are used as obscene insults. You see, for example, the head of a griffin, or a sketch of a wolf. Someone was not happy with the prices they saw. One passage is especially interesting. Trapdoor payment. Does that mean there's a trapdoor right there where the arrow is pointing? Trapdoor? Did that take up time? That did take up time! No! Alright, so I need to leave at least an hour of time left. I can't get distracted just like looking at stuff and then pass my time too much. You make a couple of small holes in various spots, but the most interesting area turns out to be hidden beneath the remains of an old campfire. You move all the ash and pieces of wood until you find a well-preserved plank. You dig around, finding a solid trapdoor locked with a steel padlock. Can I do that? I don't think it'll work. I break the oh. It worked. 3 hours and 30 minutes. You take your axe, but realize that the padlock may be much easier to break through. The wooden planks, even if a bit moist, are in great shape. You look for the right angle and make 3 strong swings. After an encouraging clang, the padlock falls off. I look inside, I guess? What time is it? 3 hours and 30... Oh, there's still 3 hours and 30 minutes. You lift the hatch, and the heavy, humid air brings to soul an abandoned farm cellar. Your candle allows you to estimate that the tunnel is roughly 15 feet deep, but there's no ladder that you can use. You think about lowering the rope, but you realize that one of the brick walls is covered with large holes, meant to be used as a sort of vertical stairs. You hear no sound coming from the tunnel, but the mouldy walls and old cobwebs are not very welcoming. I kind of want to see what's down there. What is a seek shelter? I haven't seen that before. I guess that's like, if you get caught outside on the road at night, you're gonna have to do something, because you can't, like, be out at night or something. I'm gonna save, just in case. In case I go down there and, like, I explode into a million pieces or something. I climb down. What time? How time? What time? How time? You have to move slowly, learning the new route. You hug the cold, moist wall, seeking the support for your boots. It doesn't take long before you feel comfortable enough to jump down, then light up another candle. Both the walls and the floor are made of stone slabs. You see no movement, no other sources of light. The short tunnel leads you to a small room. I walk inside. The room smells of rotten wood and fungi. The abandoned junk is scattered on the ground in shelves, earthenware jars, rotting scraps of linen or leather, wooden plates, bones for carving, and rusty iron tools. While these odds and ends may be years or decades old, the basement could be just as ancient as the main floor of the chapel. The one thing that seems to be uniquely fresh and durable is a small wooden box held together by a few fiber cords. Should I take the box? Like, what if it's, like, cursed? Like, what if I leave the box behind and then I come back and open it later, or should I take it with me? Do my scholar senses tell me anything? Can I, like, glean some... Oh, this is the ancient box of curses. Oh, could it be a trap? I don't think so. Like, if I take the box, are flames gonna shoot out of the walls? I feel like if that was the case, it would give me some indication, like, there's a box, and it's on a weird platform or something. It doesn't feel empty, but it's light. You shake it for a bit, trying to guess what's inside. You can't open the box without cutting the cords. Yeah. This box belongs to someone. For now, I'm gonna keep it in one piece. So wait, did I take it? I have it in my inventory, but I didn't open it. Box of the Dolmen. Oh wait, I don't wanna... No! I wanted to look around! I wanted to just, like, go back inside. How far is the travel this way? 3 hours, 15 minutes. And that's 1 hour and 15 minutes, or 1 hour to get back to the place where it's okay. Hopefully this is not like a 2-hour journey this way. Uh-oh, that music sounds not super good. The neglected path barely finds any space among the hills, trees, and streams. There's a deer on the ground, lying in a red puddle, surrounded by a small pack of creatures which notice your presence quickly. There's about 8 of them, with thick furs and shades of brown, grey, and black, and hairless faces with small eyes and large mouths, currently stained by the blood of their prey. Some of them move on all fours, while others comfortably stand on 2 feet. They are 2 to 3 heads shorter than you, but it's your mount which truly towers over them, and you see how a couple of the beasts take a few steps back, grunting and glancing at one another. The one with grey fur shouts, and the others move toward the rocks and sticks which are piled on the road. They hold them, awkwardly, and some struggle to maintain a straight posture, leaning on their new weapons for support. Then almost all of them spread to your left and right, blending with the shrubs loudly. Only 2 of the apes are standing still. Are they goblins or apes? 2 of the apes. This says pack of goblins. But either way, I don't think I'm prepared to face a pack of any freaking things. Turn around. Sorry. Scrambled Egg is more than ready to do so. It hardly has enough space to make a swift turn, and a goblin tries to stab it with a pointed stick, but it's too blunt or the hit is too weak to pierce through the skin. The shouting beasts behind you sound victorious, but they would never be able to catch up with a palfrey. They may spend the entire day feasting on such a large animal. Alright, well, that was a bit of a waste of time at the moment. Oh, there's paw prints now. You notice Subway eat fish. You notice fresh paw prints. At least one goblin was searching this area. It's getting late, better look for- yeah. I mean, I guess so, I guess. It's okay if I waste a little bit of time. Oh, it's only 30 minutes from here. Oh yeah, it's an hour and 50 minutes from- well, I was just here, though. Oh yeah, and I went back. Man, I don't know. I'm just gonna go back. I'm wasting a lot of time on my first day, because I'm still kind of getting the hang of things. The guard ignores your arrival. As you ride in, the other hunters are playing with their boar, patting its side and feeding it. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. Get off my horse and enter the inn. Can I sleep? I have to pay $1 to sleep this way, but not $1, 1 dragon bone, 1 donut, 1 little circle. The staff will keep opening the nearby door, walking around or talking with one another. Sleeping here will be rather uncomfortable, or I can sleep in a room, a comfy bed with a clean blanket, in an isolated chamber. You'll also get a large breakfast, a wash tub with water and soap, and some cloves to wash your teeth. Oh! Cool. I've been meaning to get not as dirty, because I look like pond scum. It's worth a dragon bone, I mean. Ooh! Moon! Oh man! You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening, people are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall, trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see the large, furry paws placed atop the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. Man, will I get full sleep and everything, or is this gonna, like, keep me up or something? Because here's the thing, I'm definitely not gonna get good sleep if I let a beast come in and, like, ransack the place that I'm staying. But also, what can I do? I'm like a scholar. And they might be like, why are you trying to help? Like, we got this. You know, some people are insulted when you try to help them, so. And I think I could help them, but also, I don't know. It's like, it's true. Like, it's not their first night. Like, they've done this before. They're probably stronger than me, because I'm just like a scholar. Also, I really need sleep. Even if the beast did break in, I would probably have a chance to defend myself or something, so I'm gonna go with this one and just try and trust them because I don't want to get out of my beautiful little bath that I'm taking or whatever. Also, as usual, if you hear weird thumping noises in the background, it's because my neighbors are walking upstairs and they walk really loud and the floorboards are very creaky. It surely looks so. The guards are organized like a group of dancers, switching positions swiftly and using words that mean nothing to you. They pierce the creature's shell with their long weapons, and one of them does her best to chop through the furry paw with an axe. After maybe a minute, the beast gives up and takes its limb back to the group's cheerful laughter. Yeah, that's the kind of skill I would expect from a team living in the middle of nowhere. Good that I get my... Yes, look! People are more willing to trust you and they'll offer you better prices. I'm clean and tidy and I look healthy. I'm vital. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, an eggplant soup, a bowl of pears, and some crumbly biscuits. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. No. Wait, but if I found crumbly biscuits, why did my hunger not go up? Or maybe does my hunger naturally go down when I sleep, and so it's like, it went down and then it restored itself, so it's kind of neutral, you know what I mean? Do you have soap again? No! I should just buy food rations whenever I can. That's it. Okay, I'm just gonna get food rations. I was looking for soap. It is so hard to find soap on this peninsula. Let me tell you. I need to go outside. Step outside. Scrambled egg is pouring at the ground. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. Alright, I'm gonna travel to the large tree, which takes me an hour and 45 minutes. Minutes. You reach the crossroads. The tree is perfectly still and hasn't changed a bit since the first time you saw it. The smell of the water hasn't changed a bit, but the cold breeze brings refreshing air from the meadows. Travel. I will go up. You slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a grey auroch. One of them, with red feathers on its arm, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but doesn't move forward and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be, satisfied with their prey, or run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now, you have enough space to move forward, yet stay safe. Their powerful jaws break the monster's bones loudly, then bite off and swallow chunks of meat. Yeah, I'm gonna ride forward, but keep my distance and look over my shoulder. The beaten road serves your palfrey well. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths among the fruit-bearing trees. Oh, can I pick some fruit? On your right, there's a large pasture, with at least a dozen massive mouflons. Two of them, already sheared, look comically small. I guess maybe kind of like sheep or something? Or llamas. Soon after that, you ride along vast, flourishing fields filled with rye, still green, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall, separating you from the glow of the lights behind it, isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with the sounds of carts, running, hammers, saws, laughter, and shouts. Yeah, that's probably how he is. He's a scholar, he spends all his time alone in, like, a library, so he doesn't really like crowds. I don't feel comfortable in large settlements. Let's get this over with. A young man is leaning against the closed gate, covered by its shadow. He's young, tanned, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson, he wears an expensive tunic decorated with colourful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's mostly made of wool and leather. He moves into the light and takes on the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are 2 weapons on the ground, leaning on the wooden beams of the gate, an axe made of steel and a wooden club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount smoothly, still having some vigor left. Scrambled Egg holds his tail high. A narrow path leads north toward 2 field workers, one with a hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave to you. You can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple. Grey pants and vests made from hemp and wool. Wool? Wave back, why not? They talk for a bit, looking toward you and pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing behind the wall's corner. The god smiles, yet avoids your eyes, and has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. What voice did I do? Welcome, traveler. If you're not here to make trouble, Howler's Dell welcomes you. We have the whitest flower there is. When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes. Or, if you're yourself a master of the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for. His act is over, and he glances at your mount with a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with a childlike fascination. This is Scrambled Egg. He helps me patrol the roads. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. He follows your instructions. Even though your palfrey pays no attention to the man's careful touch, the guard grins widely. I'm Thistle, your new Roadwarden. I want to see your mayor. A city folk? The mayor is busy, but I'll ask her. Give us a moment to let you in. He knocks at the gate, which is then pulled inwards by 2 guards, a man and a woman wearing their own gambesons, similarly green but tailor-made to match their figures. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch. Thatch? Did you say that way? Thatch? Tatch? It's not tatch. While the storehouse is even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of ropes and sticks, but no stairs. Just give me a moment! The guard strides away before he finishes the last word. The others close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes run east, to a humming creek, running through the center of the village. I wait for the return of the messenger. Calming sound, huh? That's Howler's Creek. The god, like most of the locals, is taller than you. No, he's not, actually. Thistle is like 7 feet tall. That's cool. I have like little, I don't know if it's like little memories or something. Information. My name is Thistle. I used to be a scholar. The first village I reached was Howler's Dell. Like most of the locals, he is not taller than you. Haha. I think it's supposed to be a Scottish accent, but I can't do a Scottish accent. At least not effectively. I haven't perfected it, so I'm not even gonna try. I respect it too much than to butcher it, so I'm just using this weird voice. Wide but shallow. There hasn't been a flood in years. Pa told me there didn't used to be any bridges. Neighbors were crossing it with boots in their hands. And it's clean like a raindrop, but there aren't many fish. We're the cleanest village in the north, her companion chuckles brightly. When the guard returns, he's still alone. She can't come now. A friend of mine is in labor, and the mayor wants to be there when the child arrives. But I was asked to show you the village. I nod. Fine. He approaches the watchtower. Tie your mount here. We'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbors are getting ready to celebrate. Once you're done, he grabs a rope ladder. The view from up there is gorgeous. I nod and think of my knife. If it's a trap, I'll get him first. No, I'm just gonna climb after him. Thistle is not. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guard gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to make stops and wait for the ladder to calm itself. When you join the man on the wooden platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile. I look around. See? There's no place like Howler's Dell. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of trees and bushes, larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you are to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool. And the beer? It's excellent! He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. What an annoying kid. You're Hovlavon. You can find 5 guys. Well, Thistle's pretty nice and easily impressed. He doesn't care about stuff like that. He's not a glamour boy. He doesn't live in the nicest, bestest places. He sleeps in the dirt and hoards books. No wonder he's so proud. Why wouldn't he be? Retain the scrap of land and live in comfort. The islet in the islet? 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 The islet in the middle, I guess that's this, like maybe a miniature island. The islet in the middle connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever opened, as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there's the Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed in victuals. What is a victual? Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed in victuals. There's the stall where Akakios rewards our work, unless we annoy him with pointless talk. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bion, the best clothier in the north. Priests live in the southeast, near the wall, but they do not talk to strangers. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller. Pie maker lives with his sister, the baker. The smith and her husband, the carpenter, with their kids. Some of the larger buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. You consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. Oh, there, see? The mayor's coming, the one wearing purple. You're free to join her now, traveler. I nod and climb down. You try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make you sure that's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find it's balanced. You're relieved when you touch ground again. You untie your palfrey and follow the guard. You pass a small pasturage surrounded by a wooden fence and a few loose chickens. A tethered boar. The fancier buildings are covered with whitewashed coating, surrounded with vegetables, herbs, and flowers. The bridges are wide enough to carry even a wagon, but for scrambled egg, walking on the wooden beams is far from pleasant. The islet is empty, but you notice an empty stall, painted with the shapes of colourful flowers. And walk over the same bridge. Oh my gosh, 11 hours and 30 minutes, what have I been doing? I've just been walking around a village. Along the entire path, you notice more and more people, observing you, smiling, or casually greeting you as they're focused on their own tasks. Finally, you reach the main square. A large tree grows in the center, surrounded by dark water, held together by a thin wall, perfect for sitting, but the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant reminds you of the tree you saw in the south, next to the swamp altar. In the north, you see the Ape Ale Inn. Judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it. Oh shit, I right-clicked by accident. My finger twitched. Apparently right-clicking opens the inventory? Okay. Judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it, it's open for guests. The villagers are chatting and dining loudly, and you catch their curious glances. On the side of the dining area, the merchant is arguing with a tall, broad-shouldered worker. An old man is sitting by himself, eating a pie with a walking stick leaning against the table. A young woman is cleaning the empty mugs in the creek, speaking with a man at least twice her age, maybe her father. I need a spot to tether my horse, scrambled egg. There's a wide wooden roof right next to the gate that shelters carts, crates, and sacks. You move your mount next to a donkey, to a beam placed here just for this purpose. Without a moment of hesitation, Scrambled Egg starts to chew on the nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle with your bundles. You return to the inn. I look for the mayor. She's sitting on a chair with a 4-year-old boy on her knees. She's holding his hand gently, showing him how to eat gruel from a bowl. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk, and the added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and once he notices your arrival, he crams his mouth with a spoonful of oats. Now, love, the mayor titters. Don't get distracted. She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons and you'll go help Papa in the kitchen, yeah? She gives you a radiant, though apologetic smile and turns her attention back to her companion. I observe her more closely. Her long, full-sleeved linen dress must have been dyed once blue and once in red to achieve its dark, fancy purple, which would draw looks even in Hovlevan. From her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape, as thin as a shawl. The brown belt on her waist has a large steel buckle that betrays a running deer with unrealistically large antlers growing in all directions like tree branches. Unlike her tribesfolk, she's pale, with powdered and roughed cheeks, and her lips match her outfit. They're a bit closer to wine red. The grey, thick strands on her long blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than a result of aging. Her eyes are the colour of her cape, keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most people around, though would still be the tallest woman in many of the northern settlements. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance, even though her posture is upright, her legs confidently crossed, and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. I don't want to, barge in on... She's like the mayor, right? After a few more minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough, and after a pat on the back, the mayor puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love, but now I need to speak with our guest, darling. She addresses one of the inn workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets firmer, leaving no hint of question or suggestion. Yes, ma, she responds. Both her hair and her eyes are nothing like those of her brother, and neither of the kids resemble their mother. So, we have a Roadwarden again. Please, sit down. She shows you vaguely the palm of her open hand, letting you pick any place you want. Again, Thistle's gonna have to go with the false friendliness. Like, he doesn't give a crap. He doesn't like people or being around people, but he's gonna do what is socially appropriate and try and get in good graces with everybody as much as possible. Because he feels nothing towards her. He doesn't feel friendly or actually care about the situation at all, but he knows well enough to not just be like, oh, I'm gonna sit opposite, you know. Since I'm her guest, I sit on a bench next to her. The flowing water hits silently the rocks and wooden stakes surrounding the isle, then splits into 2 stream beds. In Hovlevan, the river is surrounded by tall walls, protecting the banks from deterioration, and the water is seldom free of dirt. Here, the smell is as fresh as it would be in the woods. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, smiling at you with kind approval. Oh, good thing that I washed before I came here. If I had seen her yesterday, she'd be like, get out of here, you dirt clump. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. Her voice gets much warmer. I'm sure you're hungry. My husband will bring us something soon. Yeah, I could eat. I appreciate it. Oh, don't mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day's too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at a flock of birds that fly above you loudly, heading south. As we're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Even if you're just a mercenary, I can't imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wandering, not so long after Asterius' appearance. There's no glory or treasures to find here. Her pale fingers form a tent on her stomach, then clasp, leaving the forefingers pointing at you. You were sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. Should I just be honest, or what? So I can present Hovlevan's interest as an opportunity, portray the situation as lightly as I can, simply explain the situation, make it clear that collaborating with the city would keep her people safe, or, well, she caught me. That's another thing, is like, I don't really want to work for merchants. Like, I don't know how I feel. Like, will I have a chance to kind of, I know it's my job, but like, will I have a chance to act against them a little bit? Or, you know what I mean? Like, can I stay within the rules enough to get paid and do what I have to do to survive, right? But like, not really necessarily further the interests of the merchants, like, completely? I feel like I could play it down, but then that might be like, it might seem sketchy, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, sure, but it doesn't really mean it, you know, like, trying to, she's being very serious with me, like, we just met, and she's like, so, you were sent by the merchants, so I'm just gonna be kind of serious, I guess. I'm not gonna try and bull shrimp, you know, like, BS the situation, or try and, like, get her to feel a certain, like, oh, well, actually, it's a good business opportunity, diddly-diddly-doo, you know. I just be like, yeah, it is what it is. I simply explain the situation. You introduce yourself and confirm her suspicions. The guild and the deputy are in agreement. They are willing to send troops to this place, defend the settlements, and patrol the roads. They'd cover their own pay, you'd only have to look after their board and lodging. You explain that the rate of taxes is open to negotiations, but they would be taken about twice a year in spring and fall. You have time to think about it, you assure her, and you're free to consult with your people. Safer roads bring many travellers, artisans, merchants. I know you realise it's an opportunity. Yes, I do, she finally interrupts you. But roads bring other people as well. Not all of them desired by us. As she observes your palfrey, she twists her deer buckle left and right, left and right. The times have changed, and your superiors were kind enough to send a messenger, not a temple guard with a list of demands. She grasps the buckle with her fist. But when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. Can I say all of this? I kind of want to say every dialogue option. I feel like I want to say all 3 of these things. Because that is how I feel. Like, I don't know, I don't control the situation. I'm just telling you, I don't shoot the messenger, you know, I'm just here to tell you what's up. You're speaking from experience, I assume. Do I really sound that confident? She titters and waves her hand by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I took an active part in them. Let me show you an example. She theatrically clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand and covering her mouth with another, then leans forward, rests on her elbows, allowing her hands to freely make gestures. You make a deal with the settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coin and tools. It's in the first traders, and they imply that you're ready to pay more for, let's say, parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just the parchment and wool. We can't butcher any more mufflins, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer, we'll send you a small flock, just turn the field of yours into a pasturage. As she pretends to speak as different characters, her voice... I don't think I was actually pretending to speak in different characters, whatever. As she pretends to speak in different characters, her voice comically shifts, and she has no issue switching between accents. I encourage her with a kind smile. Sure. I mean, inside, in his brain, he has a straight face. He's totally not amused. He's all business. He doesn't care, but he's like, alright, time to pretend to smile. Hee hee, ha ha, wow, you're so funny. Do you like me now? Can I get social benefits? She swings her hand above the table. Another year goes by, and while there's more parchment, the village lacks some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, a lot of coins, but also seeds, and the guild is not satisfied. Sending our wagons cost a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more mufflins, and to sell us their cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up and spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out the village can't say no anymore. They lack supplies, seeds, and land. They can't refuse. I nod. She's right, and it's better not to say anything stupid. The pause doesn't linger for long. I see we understand each other. So let's finish the introductions. I'm Face, one of the keepers of Apale Inn and the mayor of Howlersdale. I assume it would be convenient for you to take my answer back to Holdervan. She wonders for a moment. Say, when can we expect the first caravan? After winter? It depends on what you can sell and what you want in return. Yay, I got food! I got food! Look at me, I'm almost clean, I've got pretty good armor, I'm vital, I'm nourished. Hold on, I wanna see, no wait, archive, yeah, I wanna look at the archive, I wanna see what the hell. You make a deal with the settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coin and tools, okay. So I guess the point is that they can get too dependent on the people for trade, like they're no longer self-sustaining. Something like that. I don't know. Well, the conversation goes on. The food gets served. The refreshing aroma of rusted mutton. Rusted mutton. Oh, rusty mutton. The refreshing aroma of the refreshing aroma of roasted mutton covered with a thick sauce made of mint, parsley, and honey tempts you to bite in right away. The juices are sinking into the ground trencher. A plate made of simple brown bread. The brown bread is also a small bowl filled with chopped red radishes and a sliced boiled egg, and a mug filled with cold buttermilk. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother, and in the end the innkeeper himself shows up to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean orange tunic and a not-so-clean apron made of hemp. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you and his wife to get to your conversation. Thais tears the meat into smaller pieces, then eats slowly, often expressing her enjoyment with a hum. Meanwhile, we get to the important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes in grain and vegetables, with the exception that a squad of soldiers would provide additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards on our walls. But a lone Roadwarden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the paths, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we'd expect in return. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool, so the mayor spends a good couple of minutes describing the outstanding quality of what the village has to offer, especially the clothes, which are meant to be as unique as those made by Master Crispus. I don't know who that is. You recognize vaguely the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you've never earned enough to pay him for as much as a single sleeve. And of course, we will never reject some steel and bronze. We lack allies for sickles and scythes. She then repeats her question about starting a trade route. Truth be told, the guild is not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Understandable, but you won't find much in the other tribes. They barely have enough to survive, even after they trade for our crops. We have the only decent soil in this realm. At least the people of Gale Rocks have salt and barrels of fish, while Creeks sells meat and wood. Actually, if you haven't been in Creeks yet, the farthest village in the northeast could give them a chance. She nods with a smile. They could use your help with keeping the roads safe. White Marshes, on the other hand, as well as old Pagos, are close to worthless. For a trade route, that is. She clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers her trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, then starts to chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hand into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds of her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So, tell me, Thistle, how's Hovlevan? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. Should I make it? Well, let's see, if she's considering, so I'm working for the merchant guild in Hovlevan, right? So, like, I shouldn't make it sound like a dump hole. It's just like, yeah, everything sucks. Sometimes staying kind of neutral is the best option, so I don't want to be too positive or too negative, just kind of in the middle. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Not everyone has their own bed, but the new generation is ready to start their own fight. And I was afraid it was lost to hunger. Her chuckle is trimmed with scorn. Good to know I was wrong. When the invasion started, some merchants were cheering in their houses, happy that they would sell out all the blades and food they'd stored. Can you believe it? This panic will make us rich. She imitates the voice of a pompous man. That's why when the southerners reached the villages, they found almost nothing to eat. She sighs. Staying in a remote peninsula can truly be a blessing. She pauses, hesitant to go on, then shakes her head slightly. Well, we can't change the past. How can I help you, Thistle? Well, I guess I got, like, so many different things I need to say. I'm looking for a Styrian. She stares you in the eyes, then turns towards Scamble Egg. Is your poultry a mare? We have 2 jacks. Could use some mules. Yeah, I don't know. Should I be friendly or should I just repeat my question? I feel like I would just repeat my question. Because she totally ignored what I said. I'm looking for a Styrian. I heard you, but he's not welcome here. Her voice is harsh. And I don't know where he went. We haven't burned him or fought his awoken shell. Wherever he is, it's not our problem. What are his wrongdoings? If you have to know, he failed and won't get a second chance. He was meant to escort Agida, a daughter of mine, to her betrothed in Gale Rocks. She was a great archeress, and the road from here to the coast is not that dangerous. When they saw goblins on the road, Asterion ordered her to push through, right into their trap. She touches her deer-shaped buckle. They got jumped like a bunch of wealthy pilgrims. A Roadwarden worth their gruel should know better. He can fight with the blade, but my girl? She never had a chance. He sighs and looks at the gate. Disappeared soon after his pitiful attempt at apologising to me, and we closed our doors behind him for good. I'll let you know if he ever tries to return. Any ideas where I can look for him? She adjusts her cape with an annoyed shrug. Try asking for him in the north. He spent most of his time between White Marshes, Gale Rocks, and creeks. Here he wasn't that eager to share his plans. Why did you let him leave? He didn't do anything forbidden by our laws. He was just stupid and can't be trusted. But this isn't Hovlevan. We have no rich folk to dread. We treat each other fairly. Lost in her thoughts, she rubs the neckline of her dress. One good thing I can say about him is he didn't try to justify his decisions or avoid the consequences. But I'd rather have him prove first he can do what's asked of him. Did you ever find your daughter? For a few breaths, her green eyes seek something in your face. Her words are careful, yet hesitant. She's with the Fogs now. The goblins were after food, so they carried a shell away. One day, she's going to charge at our walls, awoken and empty. Even though she was a bit mawkish, her heart was still strong and patient. She listened to people. She was ready to help them and cry with them. I could tell you stories, but what for? Let the dead rest. You have quite a big family. She titters weakly. At one point, there were 12 kids living in our house. 9 girls, 3 boys. They come and go, as it should be. Few are already with the forest, but most are all grown now, even started their own families. She looks away at a girl wiping spilled milk with a wet cloth. To be perfectly clear, they aren't exactly our children. It's a custom of our village for the mayor to look after the orphans. Thankfully, Alex has a big heart, much more patience than I do. As she speaks, her smile widens. Thanks for the help. I wonder, back in Hovlevan, have you spent any time on Blackwood Corner? Backwood Corner? It used to be this dark, dirty alley with muggers working even in daylight. I stayed there with Octavia, the miller, in exchange for doing chores for her. She had this small wooden hut. Do I get to decide? Like, am I lying here, or do I get to decide? Like, am I choosing the story of the... Is whatever I say true, or am I just making something up? Like, I don't know which one of these is true. I guess this is kind of neutral. I'm not really saying anything. I'm just saying it would make you feel like you're old. It would make you feel like you were in the old days. The Bullhead Inn is almost 50 years old now. You explain that while the place is still called the bad part of the city, the Boarhead makes good coin selling beer and ale to students, mercenaries, and adventurers. The whole land may turn wild one day, you quote one of the local traders, but Backwood Corner will stay the same. She sighs with relief and puts her hand on her hip. Comforting, don't you think? That there are these places, these dark corners where you can always find what you expect. Living there, though, sounds awful and always was. She chuckles. I bet the thugs of my youth are no longer around, so I wouldn't count on them giving me a free pass. But I wish I could have a chance to drink a mug or two with the innkeeper once more. The old lady was always too good to stay in that muck. You seem to be fairly well off, even more so than the other people in the village. What's your secret? She reaches for her buckle and her voice grows cold. There's no secret, traveller. There's hard work, risks and sacrifices, and the support of those that care about me. Good things that happen to me shine on my people just as much. Think about it before you mention it again. She adjusts her cape. I didn't mean it in an offensive way, I was just curious. Oh my god. Have you heard of the necromancers in the north? She taps her finger on the table. Yes, I have. After you ask her to tell you more, she seems to regain her confidence. You mean White Marshes for sure. I don't know all that much about what's happening there. We avoid the lands we can. She frowns. I shouldn't gossip about it with strangers. We can talk about it on another occasion. Tell me about Howler's Dell. It is what it seems like. The greatest village in the far north. She raises her hand and makes an inviting gesture. Though I hope to still improve this and that. She winks at you, but is suddenly interrupted by the pained cry of a little boy who hurt his knee during a fall. As an amused elder tries to calm him down, the mayor shrugs it off and titters, then meets her eyes again. Life's good here. We have what we need and a lot of what we want, building on top of more than 12 generations of hard work and bravery. She spends a good few minutes telling you about mouflons, wheat, rye, hemp, cheese, and wool. Proud of every glimpse of prosperity. Whenever she mentions an artisan, shepherd, or a farmer, she doesn't miss a chance to mention how significantly she improved their conditions. She also omits some topic. You hear of no tales, songs, ancestors, rituals, or days of prayer. It's like listening to a tax collector. Only at the very end of her speech does she mention the wisdom of the elders, now kept in the teaching of the druids, who help her guide those who trust her. They heal our wounds in our gardens, she explains, but then changes the topic to all the fruit trees, hares, and nuts growing in the woods. Oh my god. Once she's done with it, I nod politely. Tell me, how do people dress in the city these days? Is it similar to what we have here? Before the war, the merchants were wearing those really long dresses and robes, way too long for my taste. They got mud stains after every rain, and I see no reason to keep shoes completely hidden. Oh, he pays attention to fashion. Thistle is a 7-foot-tall, fashionable library boy. For years there wasn't enough hemp and wool at hand, so people have started to wear furs again. Now that's just sad. When I was there, only the monks wore them, for some reason. I've no doubt the vengeful beasts have thrown the roads into a nightmare. The city folk would be smarter putting on rags. Even though she sighs, there's a cruel satisfaction in her smile. I was in Pelt of the North. The innkeeper feels uneasy about Glossier's band. When you mention the raids on northern villages, her eyes narrow. Are you sure? This is the first time I heard about it. Glossier's been around since years back, but she's not much of a nuisance. I don't know, I'm just a messenger. He asked you to join forces with him. Well, I can't give you my answer. I won't ask our hunters to endanger their lives in the pursuit of some gossip. I guess I could ask around, try to learn more about it. She sighs with exaggerated relief. What a splendid idea! There are only 3 villages in the north. White Marshes, further north by the western road, Gale Rocks by the northern coast, and creeks in the far east. Bring me news from those places and you'll get my answer. I mean... I guess the thing is I'm probably going to these places anyway. Like, I do feel this way. Like, why are you asking so much? But at the same time, like, I don't know. If it was me, I'm not going to make some sort of decision if I don't have all the information. So I am just the messenger. I feel like this is something to take up with the innkeeper. Like, I shouldn't say this to her because it's not actually her problem. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one who wanted to ask her about this, so he can pay me more. I can go back to him and say, hey, she wants me to ride through half of the peninsula in order to give you her answer. So if you want to get an answer from her, you need to pay me more. You know, but like she, you know what I mean? But like she doesn't need to pay me because it's not, she's just now heard about it. The responsibility is not on her. The responsibility is on the other guy. So I just need to go back and talk to the other guy and say, hey, if you want an answer from her, I'm gonna have to do all this stuff, blah blah blah. I can do that. We talk and talk, but I still don't know where you're from, Thistle. What's your story? Have you lived in Hovlevan your entire life? Yeah, what is his story? Well, I didn't do that. I don't want... Is there like an option of like, I studied in libraries because I'm a scholar? I guess this is kind of generic, you know? Only for a bit. I was raised in a small village just nearby, and moved to the city after I decided to look for luck as a Roadwarden. To see the city for the first time after being surrounded by a couple of small houses and fields, it's a strange feeling, isn't it? She puts her hand on the table. Even after my second winter there, I felt like a stranger. Those who know how to live in the countryside close to the wilderness, we will always find a new home for ourselves, don't you think? She gives you an encouraging smile. I was in the ruined village south from here. Her tense gaze shifts into an awkward click of her tongue as she leans away from you. I don't even want to think about their tragic fate. No one can negotiate with the wrath of the herds. A long pause. And I better not find you upsetting my neighbours with these sad questions. It was a challenging time for all of us. A wound we won't forget. So I guess we know what happened. I mean, the wrath of the herds came in like we suspected. I mean, she confirmed it, kind of. I saw a weird tree south from here. The one with the altar standing in front of it. She straightens up and raises her chin. You mean Beholder, the guardian spirit of our wetlands? Every fall we bring it our gifts, and in return she provides us with its blessed fruit, the flesh of the forest. She stares into your eyes. It's older than the oldest books and the oldest thoughts. The druids help us honour its sleep and show us how to ask for its help. Neither of these rituals, she scoffs, would be of use for you. What would it take to make you consider joining Hovlevan? Oh, I can consider it right now. While she laughs, her eyes remain keen. But if you want me to give you some answers, let's see. She looks up and to the right, theatrically raising her hand to her chin. Some gestures of goodwill would be a great start. Since you're the guild's messenger, I need to know you can be relied on. She gives me a wide, white grin. And that's only the first step, I assume. Of course! Are you even in power to handle tax negotiations? She scoffs loudly at your headshake. Do enough for my village and I'll hand you a beautiful signed letter. A list of all the things my neighbours are looking for, as well as what they can give in return. Your superiors are going to see more than enough to prepare their offer. She rubs her hands. I think that's fair. Do enough for my village is a bit vague. She nods towards the people gathered by the tables. I'm not the ruler of this place. My friends trust me because I see things as they are and I'm willing to act. Prove that you're helpful and they'll be happy to match your efforts. I want you to succeed. She puts her hand on her chest. But we don't give strangers more than we can get from them. If you want me to argue in your favour, show us your worth. Looks like we're in agreement. Perfect. One more thing, though. She puts her elbows on the table, leaning closer to you. If you go behind my back, I'm not going to wait for a dagger. I'll end you first. She rests her chin against her open palms, giving a disarmingly warm smile. I'm sure people already know that we have a new Roadwarden. Maybe ask around, see if someone needs any help. The more my neighbours trust you and need you, the more willing they'll be to offer you better pay. Well, let's start here. What can I do for you? Oh, so kind of you to ask. But before I ask you to run, let's see how you can walk, shall we? Her eyes wander left and right, and she gestures for a nearby guard to move away. He nods, then gestures at a few other souls to follow him. When a few of the locals cast curious looks at you, they turn away as quickly as you notice them. Maya's shiny green eyes are still locked on you, and her voice is close to a whisper. Since Astarion's disappearance, there's little trade on the roads, and not much news reaches us. Be so kind, her flirtatious tone distracts you with how obviously fake it is, and help me learn some interesting tales about our neighbours. I smile back at her. You mean ones that weren't meant to reach you? See, I knew that deep down you were a true sage. She titters and straightens up, adjusting her cape without haste. Do you have something to share? Oh wait, am I locked into spying now? I don't want to betray my friends at the outpost. I don't have anything against them. Like, what's gonna come of that? Am she gonna go, like, attack them or something? I don't want that to happen. It just seems like the most neutral thing, I guess. The soldiers who came here in spring were meant to find a good spot for a new outpost. She smiles widely. You don't say. Knowing that, I'll prepare a few very tempting suggestions for the officials. After she seals her lips, she still lets out a quiet chuckle. I don't want to say it. What if she goes, like, attacks them or something? That's all I have to say. Because, like, I don't want her to go out there and, like, attack them when it's only 2 people or something. Or I don't know what she's planning. Like, I don't think she would do that, but I don't know. I don't want to be a snitch. I didn't know that. I don't know. It feels weird. I keep thinking, surely city folk don't just eat wild game, saltfish and groats. What animals do people breed in nearby villages? It depends. Mostly pond fish and fowl, but some can afford to buy boars. Ah, the meat of the tribes, yet as delicious as any. Our druids say that birds and fish are better for you than pork and mutton, would you believe? Even if they're right, our creek has very little life in it. We rarely catch more than 2 fish a day. Do you need my assistance? Okay, yeah. Jeez, there's so much stuff that I could do. It's 10 hours and 15 minutes before dusk. I could probably spend the whole day in this village. I think, like, after reading for a certain amount of time, my throat starts to get really scratchy and stuff, but, maybe I'll talk to, like, a few more people, just a little bit, to kind of get my bearings and stuff. Because I feel like I just got here. It's like I spent the whole time having a conversation. I approach Eric's, the innkeeper. Even though the counter stands outdoors, it's not rotten or dirty, and you guess that like the other furniture, it's brought inside every night. Eric's approaches you with a smile and leans on its surface with his fists. He's portly and even taller than his neighbours. He's got freckles, short grey hair, and an elegant beard. His long woolen orange tunic has a decorative cut right under the neck, and loose braids at the edges. "How can I help you, traveller?" His accent is heavy, nothing like his wife's. He stomps with a heavy boot and looks around, as if he's just waiting to get back to his other tasks. His fingers are still dirty from weeding the garden. Not really much to say. Any rumours to share? Rumours? Not really. I have my own things to worry about. Neighbours keep their own company. Better for everyone to seek help from my wife or the forest speakers, not in a mug of ale. So, no rumours, but maybe you've heard about someone who might need my help. You say it as if we expect travellers to get here any day now. I'll ask around. Come tomorrow. Have you had any interesting guests recently? I don't know. He scratches his beard. There was one vagabond, but he wasn't here for long, and he didn't do much. Timid fellow. Talks loudly, but he's afraid of, like, everything, especially the guards. His face is touched by flames. He has a big ballista. He says the word with a strange accent, smirking. And a large bird as his beast of burden. I don't know what to say. He shrugs. He went south, and he's most likely gone. Thanks. 10 hours, 15 minutes. I go to Akakios, the trader. The man behind the counter is inspecting a sack of white flour, mumbling to himself and occasionally cursing. The other locals walk away, giving you space to talk trade in peace. Weevils! He points. He points at a little dark insect that's trying to flee. Shit my fire! 'Twas ground a few days ago. No pies for us tomorrow, looks like. He puts the sack on the ground. I'll take care of it later. A Roadwarden, The mayor cared enough to see you, and kids are lining up to look at your horse. Strangers are like ghosts to them now. Why he sounds like an evil cartoon villain. He's wearing a simple brown robe with no hood, a rope instead of a belt, and a modest trim made of green thread. It barely reaches below his knees, revealing his sandals and crude pants made of linen. At the same time, it's way too large for him and hangs from him like a bag. He looks like a poor vendor from Hovlevan. He stands sideways to you with legs crossed, leaning on the counter with one hand and keeping the other one in his hip. He's around 40, short and a bit greasy, with a humble beard and hair. His fingers are unusually long. Are you a barrel collector? I may not be wealthy, but I need a few things. You're a trader, I assume? I suppose we'll see each other often. For you, a trader. For my neighbours, the treasurer. Name's Akakios. Everyone brings here what they have in abundance, and I either sell it to travellers or divide it among the workers, builders, and artisans. These things here are not mine. He runs his eyes over the crates and barrels. But I can show you to our wares if you want. But do not ask me for better prices, just because you're a traveller. I need to explain myself for every deal I make, or Thais will laugh at me all the way to the pyre. Really sinister even when he's saying very neutral dialogue. What can you tell me about Asterion? That even though he was here more than once, he did not leave much behind. Smelly hoarder. He looks around and spits on the ground. At least he bought a blade from me. Do you remember what blade it was? Sure, 'twas a special one. A sickle sword, with a tip wider than it was at the grip. Long as from fingertips to shoulder. Not a sword, not a knife. Single-edged. Bought his own steel to melt for it. What's it good for? Fencing? More for cutting bushes, creepers, roots. It won't fell a tree, but 'tis a fine tool. He nods to a passerby, but his smile disappears as quickly as it's shown up. Pathfinders use it. My father used to have one as well. He chopped nuts with it. Nuts and mouflons. So he took it to the wilderness. He shrugs. Pretty much anywhere. There are hills from here to the coast and bogs in the north, and the heart of the woods. I can't help you with it. Do you need any help? I could use a job. Know what? There's something urgent. I need a medicament for my daughter. Not that she's hurt or anything. He raises his open palms as if to show that he's not holding a knife. She's a teen, wants to start hunting in the woods. I can't teach her much, but I'd sleep better with her having a healing potion. You have almost 18 days. Bring me the potion before the last dusk, and I'll pay you 5 dragon's rings. And where can I find such a potion? I can think of 2 places. The safer bet is behind old Pagos on the mountain of the crazy monks. Crazy and boring, more boring than a mouflon, but they often brew with Numa. You can also head south, east of the crossroads behind Pelt of the North. I haven't been there myself, but you'll find a dolmen there, as old as a city, and this. He reaches for his clinking pouch and pulls out a massive iron key. He's meant to open some secret passage there. How do you know about that secret? From a merchant. She's south of Hag Hills. I was meant to pass the key to her friend, but he never showed up. And you've just been keeping this key at your side ever since. I kept it with my trinkets and coins, that's all. We were planning to go there for years, but it's one of those things you talk about and never do it. She didn't want to take the stall after you? No, but that's fine. She hates me. It's better for her to take after her mother. Your daughter hates you? His low voice sounds like grunting. Since you have to know, our laws make me admit I was a wife-beater, and by my own deeds I've lost my family. My daughter has a new father now, and I'm not allowed to marry again. As he starts to speak faster, he also wags his finger at you. But I'd never touch my girl. Keeping her safe is the right thing to do, even if it doesn't make things right. A strong elixir would be worth more than 5 coins. Well now, it's all I can pay. He spreads his arms. I don't sculpt you stupid. The dragons I get here belong to the village. 5 is fair pay, and I'll mention to all the neighbors just how helpful you are. He takes a deep breath and adjusts his robe, still sweating. Fine, I'll look for it. I could give my healing potion, but I kind of want to have 2 instead. Good, he smiles. Anything else? I don't need furniture or barrels of food. Do you have anything of use for a traveller? It's hard to say, What do travellers need? He clears his throat and turns away to have a look at his store. While some of the crates and barrels are empty, they carry an assortment of odds and ends. Tools made of wood and stone, pots, mugs, seeds, vegetables, fabric. Takes him a few minutes to look through the wares. He puts 3 packages on the countertop. As he unwraps the first one, you recognize what it is by shape alone. Tell me this isn't a beauty! He chuckles and lets you hold the shiny battle axe. The haft is long, but the head is light. I know what you're thinking. Your eyes say everything. He praises the weapon loudly, but you barely listen to him. You see your reflection in the unused blade, as sharp as they get. You're not a smith, but you see not a spot of rust. When you take a swing, it takes hardly any effort. The leather straps holding the pieces together are just a decoration, and the handle is as smooth as glass and perfectly fits into your hand. The man chuckles. You like it, Now I doubt you can afford it, but don't worry, that's not all I have. Take a look at the rest of his stuff. His long fingers tap against the parchment windows of a lantern. Its frame is cheap, made of oak. It's glued and it's quiet, he says while shaking it in the air. Not as fancy as the iron ones with oil, but you can carry it in caves without luring all the corpse-eaters and goblins. Perfect for a traveller. Just take a look. Inside the lantern you find a place for a candle. Not a great match for people living in wooden houses. Hide and glue are not easy to make, but I won't ask for more than 4 rings. The last sack is as wide as a saddle and 3 hands tall. It contains a whole bunch of undyed linen sheets. We usually keep them for traders, but we could use a few dragon rings, and who knows if there's ever going to be a next caravan. He gives you a long look. Interested? Depends on what you want for it. No, none of it. Nothing for now. Okay, so I guess I should leave this square. You're wandering through the village. A field worker walks by you, coughing loudly as he tries to open his water skin. A short-tempered hunter tries to explain to his parents that there are no bears where he's going. What time is it? I have 10 hours exactly before dusk. Does this mean this costs money? Usually when there's this little thing next to it, it means that something costs money. Do I have to pay to offer my services to the guards? Because I'm so bad at fighting. They're like, yeah, you can tag along with us if you pay us, but like, go see Bjorn, the tailor. You follow the guard's directions and reach the whitewashed building standing on the western bank next to a small garden of flowers and herbs. It's well kept and clean, with a plain, beaten front yard and parts covered with sand. Through the open windows, you catch a glance of the furniture, made of smooth, almost shiny wood with hints of dark, cherry-like red, decorated with carvings of plants. A woman in her 40s is sitting on a wooden bench. The table is covered with fabrics, threads, and needles made of bone and iron. She's sewing a long sleeve on what's going to become a blue tunic. Her movements are quick and confident. Her brown, wavy, shoulder-length hair is tied into a wreath-like braid, but other than that, her clothes are simple and inconspicuous. She doesn't have a left leg, but you don't notice any cane. You observe her for a few moments, until, without sparing you so much as a glance, she encourages you to speak with a grunt. I'm looking for a tailor. Well, you found one. Her voice is low, but she doesn't stop her work. Name's Bjorn. Could you answer a couple of questions? The boredom in her voice is palpable. I'm not a bard. I'm interested in a new set of clothes. She stops her work and looks at you briefly. I can tell. You don't even hear a hint of mockery. But that's a lot of work, and I don't take my work lightly. If I were to give you anything, people would see it, and I'll not let you show them some rags. And by that you mean your prices are high. You reach for a pouch, and she answers with a nod. It'll take me a day or so to finish, and a fine fabric. Your city clothes are... She frowns. Just fine for the wilderness, I guess. What I'll give you is for the time with lamb and meat and mead, not pathfinding. The longer the outfit you want, the higher the price. Though I'll consider the things people say about you as well. Fine, let's discuss it. Eee! Ooh! Ah! Alright, well, I'll keep that in mind. And I don't think that I did just get someone to work on it, so I think I'm okay with my gambeson for now. I think I'm gonna talk to the local priest and then I'll be done, because I can only read dialogue for like an hour or two before my throat starts hurting and I need a break. You head south of the dead tree in the main square. Before you get to the second thatched building, a large man stands up from a bench and gets into your way. He's close to 50, taller than most people you've seen in your life, broad-shouldered. His hair and short beard are brown, matching his elegant woolen robe. A thick club is attached to his right wrist with a leather strap. He left his sandals by his sitting spot.
Many want to speak with our guides and teachers,
he speaks with a solemn, strong voice.
but you're not welcome here. Turn back, stranger.
Can I know why?
You can!
He swings his polished, heavy weapon.
You are from the outside and cannot be trusted. The boors and slaves of the United Church would crush us if they had a chance. Before we allow you to spy on us, we need to be sure it's worth it.
I'm not a spy.
I don't believe you.
I'm your new Roadwarden. Are you sure that nobody here needs my assistance? His harsh look softens.
We can handle ourselves. If that changes, Elpis will summon you.
I don't want any trouble. He shrugs.
Travelers bring their problems onto others. Their will means nothing.
Well, so be it. I turn back. The druids won't agree to see me. Okay. Let's travel a bit. What's up? The road is beaten and free of litter. You notice the paths between the fruit-bearing trees on your right, and soon after that, you ride alongside vast fields of broad beans, almost ready for the second harvest of the summer. Then there are the green hemp plants, taller than you are, waiting for a scythe or a sickle. The locals keep the beasts at a distance, I guess. Oh wow, 4 paths. What time is it? 9 hours and 30 minutes? The hooves thump loudly on the beaten track. The green bushes, shrubs, and trees prove that the soil here is fertile, yet the plants don't overgrow the road. These crossroads must be busy at times, even patrolled.
In the distant west, you see the mountain peaks dividing the lowlands from the ocean. The road east leads towards the hills, behind which there are unusually dark trees. There's a dense forest in the north, from which you hear the croaking of toads. The last path is already known to you. You're surrounded by 4 signposts, all of which seem to be made from the same type of wood, now covered in moss and fungi, yet the pictures and letters that cover the nailed boards are nothing alike. Search the area! The thicket doesn't help. You notice the remains of berries and pears, but most of them are already rotting, spread close to the wooden stools at the side of the road. The nearby creek is not impressively deep, but the beaver dam, for some reason taller than you are, makes it wide, and waters the surrounding soil. A few steps away from the southern signpost, you find something sticking out of a shrub. It's a moist plank, covered by fungi. You try to move it with a stick in a gloved hand. After a minute or so, you confirm it's an abandoned sign, covered with green letters and colourful pictures of flowers and trees. Steep house, you read with difficulty. I try to find out where the old sign used to be attached. The southern post is the only one with holes left by nails. Can I search some more? After a few minutes of disturbing the local fauna, you're sure there's nothing more here to be found. Take another look at the destroyed sign. It's covered with green letters that spell Steep House and colourful pictures of flowers and trees, now blending in with mould. As far as you can tell, it used to be attached to the southern post. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell. I should approach the southern post. It's covered with green, blue, and white paint that portray simple squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. Each square has a large letter inside of it. They together spell Howler's Dell. Both the pictures and letters are not too old. There are no other words or remarks. The plank was attached with a set of wooden wedges. So that's the southern post? Oh yeah, that's where I just came from. Wait, so where's Steep House, or whatever that thing is called? What's it called? Steep House used to be this way? Maybe I could ask the people in Howler's Dell about it. I approach the western signpost. It has 2 planks attached to a single post, both of them nailed with rusty steel. The lower sign is divided in 2 halves. The left edge is engraved with 4 simple shapes, squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. The other edge bears 2 engraved piles, one of them made of horizontal rectangles, the other of inexact circles. The letters between these 2 piles say stone. The other plank is covered with a white word, monastery, though it's divided in half. Right below it is an engraved vertical rectangle with an hourglass inside of it. So that's the western signpost. Northern signpost. It's attached with nails made of pointy carved bones and divided into 3 sections covered with small engravings. The part on the left has 3 large squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. No other pictures or words. The one in the middle has only 1 square, but also a simple horizontal symbol of a fish and a short word beneath it. It spells salt. The image on the right has 2 roofed squares, but also 2 other images which you recognize easily, a deer and a standing barrel. I approach the eastern signpost. 9 hours before dusk. The long plank, attached with rusted iron nails, is almost empty. It bears no words, only a single picture, painted with great care. It portrays a city-like gate with a watchtower to its left and right, and a couple of small conifers growing beside and partially behind the towers. Okay. Maybe this is a good place to stop and take a break from reading text and sitting down and stuff like that. Didn't really get around to finding much. Mostly just the whole day was just spent talking to people in the village, but I will continue tomorrow. Probably go to one of these places, because I'm interested to see, because like if you look at the, where's the map? I thought I had a map. Because if you look here, like this is all I found. Like I think as you go places, the map will get filled in. I haven't found... So much of the map is totally blank. Because I haven't been anywhere. Oh yeah, and I need to go back this way anyway because I want to ask this guy. I want to ask this guy about the thing that I talked to with the mayor lady. And also I need to get my fish. And I want to finish looking in here. I want to look in the whole place. It's a new day, which means I can go here again, so. I think maybe whenever I get back, I'll like, maybe explore one of these paths and then turn back and do all this and then do all this and like sleep at this place and then kind of come back out. I know I'm not moving very efficiently. It doesn't really matter, okay? It's just about exploring. I don't have a time limit. But yeah, that was that for today. So I'll see you in the next episode, I suppose. Goodbye.